1. What's up, Dragon Ball fam? It's your boy Eddie St. Hilaire coming at you live with teammate Juha Bach coming off of his fresh top 16 performance at the 149-man San Diego Regional. Without further ado, go ahead, Juha, bro. Talk about it. Introduce yourself, all that good stuff.
All right, so I'm Juha, as everybody knows, and as everybody did not know, I was playing Gogeta this time instead of Sin. Everybody at the regional was asking me like, "Oh, you're gonna play Sin?" I got messages it's like, "Oh, you're gonna play Sin, hon?" And I just ignored them. I didn't want to answer because I didn't want to reveal that I was playing Gogeta because me and Eddie at the airport we came up with like a spice that I didn't want to make known until the regional. And let's just say at the regional, everyone was caught off guard by this spice. Like people are watching my games, they're like, "Oh my god, that combo is so ridiculous."
Yep. Yeah. So what he was talking about was at the airport, right? Because a lot of people were talking about EC. Everyone's hyping up Gogeta. It's not the best deck, and I'm like, bro, it is the best deck. There's just multiple versions of the deck, and I don't think people really mastered it. So I shared with Juha in the Discord, the PPG Patreon. Because the Patreon was like, "Damn, Eddie, what's up with Gogeta?" And everyone on Facebook was asking me, "What's up with Gogeta?" I'm like, "All right, guys, I'll share version 1 with you, man." Like, the reason why it's version 1 is because you'll see once you get into the deck profile and he reveals it, it's not gonna really work anymore. So it was like the first version. I have 4 versions, well, at least 3 now, because this one's not gonna work anymore. I have 4 versions of the deck. You guys will see as we go on playing this game. But talk about the leader, man. What's the leader do?
All right, so the leader's just like Panda or Hercule back in the day. That when you combo a card, you don't draw, but it's even better. You look up the top 3 and you add a red say, including your SCR.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I did that so many times where I like look up top 3, like, "Oh, here's my SCR." Or you add a 2-drop unison. You can combo your rest mode, your Saiyans that are in rest mode, which is incredibly broken with the combo that I'm gonna show.
Yep.
And then you awaken when you have a Vegeta GT and a Goku GT in your life, and you go down to 6, you untap 1, draw 1, or you just awaken when you have 4 less life.
Yeah, when you have a Goku or Vegeta T in your T energy. And then Awaken side is the best side.
Super Saiyan 4 Goku, my second favorite character,
Super
and Vegeta
Saiyan 4
in the background.
Eddie and Super Saiyan 4 Juha in it together. I should put a face on this, bro. That's gonna be the thumbnail.
Eddie, you're Vegeta.
That's gonna be the thumbnail, bro. Go ahead, man.
Alright, so it does the same thing where you can combo rest mode Saiyans, and then it has a permanent that your Gogeta GT card, which we only technically have 1 of, can attack your opponent's battle cards in active mode, and it skips your opponent's defense step. And then once per turn, when you union fuse, it becomes Gogeta GT, which is super relevant because when it's not Gogeta GT, your 8-drop isn't affected by your leader skills because it's now Goku GT, Vegeta GT, so it doesn't get to skip the defense step ability if it didn't have that text. And then when it attacks, this is really, really broken when you combo with like Crown. You swing, you draw a card, and you free play a 1-drop red Saiyan from your hand in rest mode.
Oh yeah, super snap. All right, let's get into the first package
card, the
deck,
broken card.
Yeah, first package of the deck.
It's Eddie Jr. and Juha Jr. It's Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. It's Scions. This is the card that makes the deck broken. So this unison might as well say your opponent starts at 4 life.
Exactly.
Okay, so and then we play the Vegeta GT. So the reason why this combo is so broken is normally when you play Scions, you swing for 10, you neg 1, you play the 2 skills, you swing for 10, you swing with leader, so you swing for 4 10Ks. But in this deck, you're not swinging for 4 10Ks. You're swinging for 10K with the Scions. You neg 1 to play the 2 Vegetas. You swing with 1 Vegeta, so that's a 10K swing. You swing with the second Vegeta. You combo off the first Vegeta that swung that's in rest mode. So you trigger your leader's effect to look up the top 3. You grab a Saiyan, and the second skill list is a 15K swing. Then you swing with leader. You combo off the second skill list, so that's a 15K swing. And if you're going first, you turn 1, you don't play your Scions because they're gonna kill it. Turn 1, they tap out for like whatever, right? So turn 2, you can play the Scions, swing for 10, neg 1, play the 2 skill list, swing for 10, swing with the second skill list, combo the first skill list, go to 15, draw whatever off your leader. Then you pay one to a rival the kicking Goku that when you have a Vegeta GT in your combo, you can play it for one. You draw a card, it's a 20 double strike. And then you could realistically do upwards of 4 to 5 damage. So basically, at the regional, every single opponent that I played, if I opened Scions, they started the game either at 4 life or they lost a lot of cards out of their hand.
Yep, that's the premise of it. Because pretty much, if you're not playing blue with Dirty Burst, your sideboard becomes very diluted, right? So this leader essentially says you can't go to 3. If you go to 3, it's game over, unless you're playing blue, which that was the majority of your matches. If you're playing yellow, red, all that other stuff, it's literally null and void, because once you go to 3, it's game over. And like you said, you usually start at 4. Or, realistically speaking, you can start at 3 because of the Goku that we will get into next. Hiya!
There's the kicking Goku. So basically, he has deflect and he has double strike. And when you play him, you draw a card, so he replaces himself. He's just like the red Sin Shenron that it's like, he's basically this deck's version of the Sin Shenron. So he costs 1 energy to play if you have a Vegeta GT in your combo area. So basically, that's where that combo comes in, where like you combo the second skill list and then you pay one to a rival this guy. And now you're swinging for 20 double strike. And he keeps your hand size relatively like not big, but like he replaces himself, so you're not actually going neg.
Yep.
Oh, and he also has this cool ability that I never got to use. But if you keep him on board and you combo him, like if you swing with him and then we swing with leader and you can combo him off to give your leader double. He's like a built-in Champa.
Yes, he is, my friend. This is why future you'll see it. We don't play Champa because we do. It's just in the form of Goku. The next 8 cards is going to be a package.
Okay, so these cards are basically the exact same effect. It's just that one's a Goku and one's a Vegeta. So they're both 4-drops that reduce themselves to 1. And then when you play them, they go to rest and you draw a card. And then when you combo them off, you draw another card. So these are so basically in combination with your leader, you draw so many cards. And then these guys, the Vegeta triggers your kicking Goku, and then the Goku triggers the Vegeta version of the kicking Goku. And there's just which is so that guy does the exact same thing as the Goku, except instead of drawing a card, he negs something by 15k and he has critical. And just like the Goku, you can combo him off the board to give your leader critical. So you can give your leader double strike crit if you have both of them on board.
If you really want to, yep.
So right before we go to the next card, going back to those two, the Goku and the Vegetas, they're not once per turn. So you can draw an insane amount of cards. Like one of my rounds, I was playing against Gamma. It's like turn 3 or 4. My opponent asked me cards in hand. And because I triggered multiples of these, like the turn, and he asked me cards in hand, and I literally told him, I'm not exaggerating. I remember the exact number because my opponent and the people around me were so shocked when I said this number. He asked me cards in hand, I said 18.
All right, let's get into the next one, broski.
Okay. This card is amazing. This is a Sensu Bean. It's an SS4 Goku that's a Sensu Bean. So it's searchable, and in combination with other cards, it's limit 1. So you literally can't do like triple bean. Mm-hmm. But ideally you wanna. This is a surprise for like later. I guess I'll just say it now. You can basically end your opponent's turn with this card in combination with another card in the deck that I'll mention later.
Yep.
And then this card, this is the Vegeta version of the bean. So you can discard him to grab any Super Saiyan 4 Goku, not Super Saiyan 4, any GT Goku 20k or less. So you can grab the bean, you can grab the kicking Goku, you can grab the one that draws you cards. You can grab basically any Goku from the deck.
Yep. Facts.
So it's your consistency.
Big facts.
Oh, and there's the boss monster, the most fair and balanced card in this game. So this guy has everything. This is like if I designed a battle card, and this is like a battle card that's like a little kid design, and it's like I'm gonna give this card all the most broken abilities I can give it. So it has deflect, it has triple strike, it has blocker. it comes in for 4 energy. You union fuse a Goku and a Vegeta GT, which is your like the majority of your deck. and it's unaffected by all non-Gogeta GT. So it's basically unkillable. When it swings, your opponent can literally not do anything to it. They can't combo. I mean, they can combo. They can't block. They can't negate. And it can attack your opponent's battle cards in active mode, and they can't combo when it attacks a battle card in active mode. So it clears the entire board. It restands after it kills a battle card. Then when it swings for 35 triple, your opponent, when you're playing against Gogeta, you literally need to have enough combo power to go to at least 40k at all times, or you're gonna straight auto lose to this card.
Mm-hmm.
And it restands at the end of the turn, so it's a blocker. So it's an unremovable 35k blocker that it kills itself at the end of the turn, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the turn, it changed the tide of the game. So like there's a reason why people are complaining about this card. This card is like broken. Yeah. But the thing about this card is the main thing that makes it broken is not the card, but the fear of the card, because you have to spend you have to spend the entire game playing around this card while at the same time defending the Scion swings and the early double strikes and the early crits and all that stuff. So that's what makes the card broken, is the fact that it's not the card itself that makes it broken. It's the fact that you have to play around this card on top of all the other little cards. It's like U7 where you have to play around the Friezas and the Friezas, the 17s. But you're not just playing around the Friezas and the 17s. You also have to worry about the big 8-drop Jiren Goku that next your board looks like. It's the same thing with Gogeta. It's like you have to worry about the little cards, but then you also have to play around this big giant boss monster.
Big facts.
Oh, and then there's this card was my MVP. This card. So I was not even playing this card at all. And I took Gogeta GT to my locals, and there was a card that I was missing in the deck. So I just put one copy of this card as like a filler. And it overperformed so much that I added a second copy for the regional. And I'm glad that I did, because this card is so ridiculous, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So it has Deflect, Double Strike. You can play it for 3 energy if you have 3 Saiyans either in your energy or battle cards. It also works in black decks, but I guess black is unplayable in this format. Broly. Like Dark Broly. Imagine if this card came out when Dark Broly and Vegex were at full power, unerrata, where they're not paying energy for practically anything. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so this guy negs 2 battle cards on your opponent's boards by 30k, and your opponent warps a card from their hand. And it's a 30k double strike. This card is just so powerful because it destroys...
one more and you're talking about with Senzu being until the end of...
and it beans your leader. So back to that SS4 Goku, I said you could end your opponent's turn. There were so many games where I was double beamed, where I was base 25 with like a 15 card hand. So it's like my opponent they would have to pass, or they'd have to like lose cards out of their hand to even attempt to do damage.
And when you combine these 2 cards, you come up with the almighty
Heartfelt Plea, another very fair and balanced card. So you can literally play this guy. You can play the 8-drop Gogeta, the red and black one. You swing with it, beams your leader away, destroys your opponent's board, destroys your opponent's hand, and then you can awaken and Heartfelt Plea. And remember, your opponent is most likely at 4, anywhere from 2 to 4 life at this point. So you awaken and you play Heartfelt Plea. So your opponent is most likely going to be like, draw your 2 cards. So your awaken might as well say untap 1, draw 3. Yeah. And then there's it's a 30k triple strike that they now have to deal with. It's just Heartfelt Plea. There are so many ways to trigger it in this deck. You can literally just slam this Gogeta and then awaken the kicking Gokus and the kicking Vegetas in combination with the next card. Also trigger Heartfelt Plea, and that's the rushing pan. So I play the rushing pan for literally one. Well, it combos nicely with the deck because you draw a card when she's comboed, and then the leader technically looks up top 3, grabs whatever. So it's like you're drawing 2 off comboing pan. But more importantly, you can literally almost all of your cards are 20k, so you can play pan, give them a 5k boost, and then awaken and Heartfelt Plea. Like there's so many ways to trigger Heartfelt Plea. Like there's so many times where like when I combo and I look up top 3, if the first card is Heartfelt Plea, I just grab it immediately and don't even look at the other 2. That's how because once you have Heartfelt Plea in your hand, you have so many ways to trigger it.
Yep.
and it's just such a game-changing card.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, so I'm playing this super combo for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's a Vegeta GT. So there's games where you can literally super combo. You draw one off of the super combo. You draw one off. This is assuming you're like not awakened and you're at 4 life. So you draw one off the super combo. Then your leader looks up top three, grabs another card. Then you, because you have a Vegeta GT in your combo, you can pay one to a rival the kicking Goku, and you draw another card. So it's Raditz is a better super combo as a standalone card.
But not in
But
this
in
deck.
this deck, but not in this deck. In this deck, I think Vegeta GT or Beerus are better because they're essentially draw twos that are active like most of the game. And
Yep.
the fact that it's a Vegeta GT can help with your awaken, it can help trigger your arrivals, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Think the thing that was missing this to be the hands down default super combo was if this was a Goku instead of Vegeta, because I think
Oh, if
that's
it
what
was
would
a Goku,
solidify it.
okay. If this Vegeta was a Goku, it would be broken because that Vegeta,
Could
the
search it.
SS4 Vegeta, could search it. It could
Yep, yep,
search
yep.
it.
That's the only issue with it. But like you said, the one benefit it does have over Sin, not Sin, over the Beerus super combo is that once again this is a rival fighter because once you combo it off, you could just instantly play Hiya Goku and just keep going in. So the
That's
next
its
part.
new nickname.
Yep.
Oh,
Speaking of
this
Vegetas.
SCR. Okay, so there's so much debate. People at the regional were telling me, bro, Vegeta is better. Why are you playing Vegeta? And I'm like, I've had this debate with so many Gogeta players. In my opinion, I think Vegeta is the better SCR because
Tell them how
I
I explained it to everyone, bro. There's two things that happen when you draw this card. What are
okay,
those two things I
so
always tell you?
so when you're playing Vegeta, one of two things is happening. You're behind and you're losing. You play
Mm-hmm.
Vegeta, and now you go from losing to winning
Mm-hmm.
just by
Or
playing this. Or you're already winning, you're already in a winning position, and this card just guarantees the win.
exactly.
Like one of my matchups, my opponent assumed I was playing Gogeta. So I hit him
You
with
mean
a double
Vegito?
strike
Vegito. Yep.
and he took it. He took it. He went from 3-1. I immediately passed. I passed, but I had like the biggest like grin on my face that I had to like hide. Like I had to like maintain my composure. I had Vegeta in my hand. The moment he went down to 1, I passed. I'm like, if he cannot kill me this turn, which he couldn't because I had like a big hand and he wasn't in the best position at the moment.
Mm,
I'm like, the moment he passes, I win this game.
yep.
And he was playing Gamma, and he was swinging, he couldn't kill me. As soon as he said leader effect and he picked up his energy, I showed him Vegeta. I'm like, let's go to the next game, bro.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of
Okay, so
Vegetas,
speaking of more Vegetas, SS4 Vegetas, I played 2 overwhelms in this. Like I played this, and the next card is the Dark Broly overwhelm.
oof,
So the
spicy.
reason I play that's Eddie. That's Eddie loves Dark Broly. All right, so the reason I play 2 overwhelms is because when you Z awaken, you are literally unable to untap your energy, so you just have a leader swing, and that's it. You have, and maybe the Gogeta swing if you already had the Gogeta. So I wanted to ensure that I had an overwhelm in my hand on the turn after my Z awaken goes away. So I have my leader swing, I have my Gogeta swing, my leader swing, and a potential overwhelm swing to push for game. I went with 1 Vegeta and 1 Dark Broly because honestly, I think every overwhelm in this game is horrible now compared to fighting against Fate and like Secret Identity. And I think these are like the closest things to that. They're like not even close, but this is like I guess the closest because I want a free overwhelm, like obviously because I can't play something like Scientist Fu or Mira from the skies or whatever because it's like I'm tapped out. I need a free overwhelm, and these are probably the best options that I had, and that's my logic for 2 overwhelms because I wanted to ensure that I had at least 1 in my hand for when I try and push for game.
Makes sense. Oh, it's your extra card lineup.
Okay, so Violent Rays. So Violent Rays is so ridiculous so Violent Rays in combination with the Bean is so broken. Oh
Yep.
my god! So you literally Violent Rays the first swing, and then you SS4 Goku combo, and now you're a 20k. So now your opponent has to combo because they can't attack with 20k or higher. And if they attack with 15k, you're Bean, so I have to combo up. So it just essentially ends their turn. And there's been games where I'm double Bean because I played the 8-drop Gogeta So I'm a 20k base, and then I combo the other SS4 Gogeta, so I'm 25 base. And then with Violent Raise, that like immediately shuts down your opponent's turn.
And
And another cool thing about Violent Raise is that you don't have to discard a red card. So you can discard dead scions. Like after the first few turns, scions is kind of dead. So you can just discard them with Violent Raise. It's a free discard.
yep, big facts.
And then Imposing Presence is just it's another bean. Imposing Presence is literally another bean. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually got destroyed by Green King Piccolo at locals not a few days ago, like right before the regionals. And I was like, man, if a deck goes really wide, it can really hurt really bad. So I didn't want that to happen. So I made Imposing Presence on the off chance that I played against a deck that can go really wide.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Imposing the Bean, the 8-drop Gogeta, that's like a 30k base leader,
Bean.
basically.
Yeah, triple bean right there, man. That's rough.
And then Frieza's Death Ball, I'm sure people are like, why is Frieza's Death Ball in there? It's another way to trigger Heartfelt Plea.
Yep, pretty much.
Like I said, there's lots of, I know people are thinking it's like, oh, that's a lot of spots for Heartfelt Plea. The thing is, if you don't see Heartfelt Plea, it's fine because you just play the deck like normal. And if you do see Heartfelt Plea, it's like, oh my God, now the advantage is so skewed in my favor.
Big facts. All right, and your Z deck.
All right, so one SS4 Gogeta, the Ultimate Fusion. So everybody already knows this is your baby hatch. This is your 100k. So I think there's only one game in the entire regional where I actually swung with this. I'm like, okay, swing for 100k per game. But outside of that one scenario, you're never swinging with this for 100k. You're almost always using this as a last resort baby hatch where your opponent can literally never go all in. They have to combo to weird numbers to try and force your Z awaken. And it's like it makes it really hard to play around against this deck because you have to. Not only does this deck defend very well between all the beans and all the combo power and negates, and it even has arrivals that you can like use to defend with, but now you have to like try and force out this 100k awakening, and it's just really hard for your opponent to play around this card. And it skips your charge phase. So if you have the 8-drop Gogeta on board, now the Gogeta stays, and it's like now they have to deal with the Gogeta again next turn.
It's rough.
And then 2 Defender of Life. So this card is the reason why against red, it's like you start at 3 life. Realistically, you just play this card and you burn your opponent from 4 to 3. It's a 2 energy, 3Z energy card. It's a double strike 20k. It has a broken effect if you're playing Pan because if you're playing Pan, it's a 40k dual attack double strike, neg something by 25k every time it swings, burn them for a life. It's ridiculous in Pan, but it's really good even outside of Pan. Every red deck should be playing this card in their Z deck because you're most likely playing Broly Crown or you're playing the Raditz Super combo. You're playing a Red Saiyan no matter what as a tech.
Yeah, you're playing the
so
Vegeta counterplay.
Yeah, the Vegeta Resolve Renewed, the Kaioken Concentrated. You're playing some sort of Red Saiyans between your main and side. So that's basically a free burn damage to your opponent.
Yeah, and isn't that exactly how I described it to Juha and the Patreon guys? I said, Scions bring you down to 4. This instantly brings you down to 3. And Gogeta just gains you from 3 to 0. It's like, I don't know what more can you ask for, man. Like, it's the perfect number. And not only is this bringing you down to 3, they also have to defend a double strike. Because if they don't defend this and you go all in, number one, you have a Vegeta secret that says, okay, you went down to 1, it's game over. And you have a Z leader card that says, okay, cool, you can tap out if you do tap out. I've never got to swing with a 100k leader, unfortunately. So I'm jealous that she did. That's one thing I never got to do with this deck.
It was a one-time thing. Realistically, it's such a hard like situation to be in. It's just my opponent was tapped out and they were forced to defend against I just went in all in with a double strike and I dumped everything on the double strike to get him to 1. And then I'm like, all right, swing with leader, and then I'm like Z Awaken.
Jesus. All right. And one of the best red cards in the deck. Or in the game.
Not even one. I think this is the most broken card in the entire format. The only problem with this card is that it's not Jiren. With this effect, this should have been a Jiren card.
That's nice.
So this Vegeta is ridiculous. Like I think I played this card more than any other card in my entire deck this weekend. And even last week when I talked with Red Sin, I abused this card so much in Red Sin. And then even at locals when I'm playing Pan, I abuse this card is just so ridiculous. I think this is the most broken card in the entire game right now.
Yeah, card is straight snap, man.
So let me just tell you what this very fair and extremely balanced card does. So as deflect, it's a 15k that when it swings, you can combo one of your cards, one of your red 5ks from your drop, and you neg one of your opponent's cards, whether it's unisons. It doesn't work on leaders, but it hits battle cards and unisons by 15. Then if you have 4 more Z energy, it restands, and now it's a 25k double strike with barrier. So when it swings, you can combo another card. So it pays for itself because it costs 2 Z energy, but when you swing, you go back to you get back one of the Z energies, and then on the second swing, you get back the second Z energy. So it's basically just a 2 energy. So the best way to explain it, it's a 2 energy. It's a 2 energy, 20k on first swing, 30k double strike on the second swing minimum that negs by 15k on every swing. So you're next for 30k.
Yep, super busted.
So no, what makes this card super busted is that it costs 2 energy. So you can literally on turn 4, instead of playing the Gogeta, which you probably should not be playing the Gogeta on turn 4, the 8 drop, you can literally just play this guy for 2 energy, swing. This guy by himself is a lot of pressure. And then if you want, after all that, you pay 2 for another one. So your opponent had to literally, it just does so damage because that's neg 60. That's clearing an entire board. Mm-hmm. Between just 2 Vegetas, you're clearing an entire board. You're swinging for 20k, 30k double, 20k, 30k double. And when you combo from your drop, if you're not awakened, it triggers your leader ability as well because it's like you're comboing a card. This card is just it's like Turles on steroids, like the black Turles, the dual attack one. It's Turles on steroids.
Yep, big facts. All right, going into the sideboard, we have the Unison package.
Okay, so the reason why I don't main the Unison package is because I'm going for like a very aggressive style of play where I want every energy to be an attack or a potential or a draw card, basically.
I'm so proud
I
of
want
you.
my one. and the Gogeta Unison, it's a broken card. It's a really good card, but in this format that's more red dominated, this card is not as good as it could be. So I do side it for slower matchups because it's really good in slower matchups, like against blue, which I played almost every round. So I ended up siding it in a lot. But it's also really bad going second, but it's really good going first. So the Gogeta, obviously, you look up top 3, you grab any red card, including your SCR, including your 2 SCRs, Vegeta or Heartfelt Plea. And then the +2 is what makes this card so broken because you can literally free play Crown.
Yep.
You can free play any 1-drop Red Saiyan, but
it's Crown.
Okay,
yeah.
One new ruler because it's new ruler. You're playing a Unison. It goes without saying. 2 Yamchas because my side deck was tight. I would have played 3, but honestly, I think Yamcha's kind of like terrible in this format. It's like it's horrible against. It hits nothing in Gogeta.
It's
like
everything. It's not that good.
Everything in Gogeta is either a 20k or it has deflect.
Yep.
So this card is just horrible against Gogeta. Against Sin, you're not gonna have a Unison against Sin, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it's a 5k combo against Sin.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, and it's also one game I actually whiffed on my leader effect where I looked up top 3 and I hit a Yamcha like an extra card and like a Dark Broly, so I couldn't even add the Yamcha because your leader only had Red Saiyan, so it's not even a Red Saiyan.
Yamcha merciless snag, B. Add snag.
Yamcha living up to his anime reputation.
And we got
okay, so the reason why this Broly count is not at 4 is because I borrowed 2 Broly. Shout out to Josh Brown for letting me borrow two Broly crowns. This should honestly be higher.
Yeah, shout out to Josh Brown because those Broly crowns are now mine. So shout out to you, my big dog.
And also The reason why I wasn't main decking Broly Crown is because my logic is I'm going to go into this event. I'm going to play nothing but Red Sin or Gogeta mirrors. And Broly Crown is so broken, but against Red Sin, it's not because they're not going to leave two energy open. Gogeta's not going to leave two energy open. So my logic was this card is going to be dead in those matchups. But I played mostly blue, so I not only did I side it in every game, I wish I saw more copies.
Mm-hmm. Next three cards
Two.
are Broly's best friend.
So two Kaioken concentrated destruction because I absolutely despise yellow. I despise slug. Like that is like it's in my top three most yellow slug is like in my top three most hated cards of all time. That card literally I was testing like months ago when they first revealed Gogeta. I'm like, Eddie, I want to play Gogeta. And we were testing and he kept shutting down my deck down with the slug. So I'm like it actually stopped me from playing Gogeta for a while because I'm like, I don't want to play this deck that just straight loses to Slug. So I side these Kaiokens just for Slug. Like it's not even for Yellow Trunks. It's not even it technically is for Yellow Trunks, but it's not like so I can neg the Trunks off the board. It's literally just to get rid of that annoying Slug off the board. At least force them to have to play another one next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Because that Slug turns off your entire deck. You're not plussing anymore. You're not drawing your infinite cards. You can't even play the Gogeta because the Gogeta draws one for cost. So the slug literally prevents you from even going into Gogeta.
Yep, big facts. Make sure you watch my Trunks deck profiles to see how you actually play Slug. Don't just slam it willy nilly, because this deck will be able to just one shot it if you just slam it willy nilly. So make sure you pay attention to when to actually drop
Yeah,
Slug.
yeah, I should specify the way Eddie played it. It was impossible to get rid of without Kyle.
I'm gonna force you to tap 2 for Kaioken, or you tapping 4 for Vegeta, which you just get 6-0'd if you do. So
It's a lose-lose
it is a
situation
lose
no
lose.
matter what.
Because that 6-0 is strong once you tap 2 or 4 B. But go ahead, continue.
Okay, so the reason why there's only one divine presence is because, long story short, like I lost a sleeve, so my main deck was. It's hard to explain, but like there was a card that I was like maining another copy of, so then I had to like move it to the side, and it's just weird. So I had like one extra like deck slot. I'm like, I guess I'll just put a divine presence if I play against blue, which I played against blue every round. But it's funny. I sided it in every game. I don't think I ever drew it a single time. I drew my SCR and Heartfelt Plea more times than I ever drew this Divine Presence. This
Damn,
might as well have been like my SCR one of that's like impossible to find.
you lost your back. You lost your deck box last week. You lost your sleeves this week. My God, are you good, bro?
Hey, don't put this out there. I'm trying to be cool and like now people are gonna be making memes about me losing my
My
sleeve.
God, bro. Go ahead. What's your next card, bro?
So
Sheesh.
I cited a fourth beam because, like I said, I wanna be able to lock my opponent out of the game, and I didn't have space. Going back to the sleeve, I didn't have space for a fourth bean, so it's like, okay, I guess I moved this bean to the side or whatever. And honestly, like I also did not want to lose to go wide decks. Like I said, I got destroyed by King Piccolo a couple of days before the regional. And shout out to him. He actually coincidentally he also topped the regional. And he placed one place lower. He got 15th. I got 14th, so I got the last laugh. But anyways, he destroyed me with King Piccolo, and I'm like, I need to be able to like bean my leader if I ever go against a go wide deck like Pan, which is actually becoming more popular or whatever. So I wanted to have another bean
Makes sense.
to go with the Valiant Rays and to go with the imposing presence to just lock my opponent out of their turn, basically.
Makes sense. How about the last two cards you
Oh,
have in it?
and then the last two Valiant Rays was I just didn't have space for two more Valiant Rays in the main. Like realistically, if I wasn't so scared of going wide decks, I would probably go more Valiant Rays in the main and just side the imposing presence. But like I said, I was traumatized by Green KP the other day. I'm like, what if I play against another go wide deck? I need a way to shut this down. So I went with imposing in the main, and I sided the last two Valiant Rays. But I would actually like side in the Valiant Rays quite a lot. So honestly, it should probably be mained like multiple. Like I main two Vine Rays, there should probably be three or four in the main. Honestly, between that and the beans, you're just straight skipping your opponent's turns.
Makes sense. All right. Any shout outs you
And
want to
yeah,
give
that.
before we go?
Oh yeah, lots of shout outs. Obviously, Eddie, me and him literally brainstormed the deck literally during our like what 30 hours that we were at the airport. Shout outs to Josh Brown for letting me borrow some of the cards. I like I didn't have he even let me borrow I actually had three skillless Vegeta GTs. Like if he didn't let me borrow the fourth Vegeta GT, I would have only had three skillless. So I would have been forced to play like a one drop that's not Vegeta GT or not even play the Scion package at all. So shout outs to him for letting me borrow that last Vegeta GT skillless that I needed. Like I said, shout outs to Eddie. And yeah, that's I'm trying to think if there's more shout outs. There's lots of other I know there's shout outs, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. I guess shout outs to all my opponents who played. Shout outs to Brian who beat me. It was a very, very intense game. Me and Brian were saying we wish that game was streamed because it was just a very, very intense game. He basically beat me by 5K because I crowned him and I saw his hand and he had his game winning combo. So I literally had to kill him that turn. And he was triple beamed on his The Awakened leader. So he was like base 35. And I had to go all in. I had to either go all in and I had to either win or force him to combo his game winning combo or I would lose. I would auto lose next turn. So I swing, I push as high as I can, and I force him to combo the turning the tide because I'll let him talk about it in his deck profile, but he has this instant kill combo in his deck that's actually very annoying and very hard to play around. But that was a very, very good game. We were saying, man, it would have been so cool if this game had been streamed.
It's
So shout
funny.
outs to Brian.
It's funny you mention
But
That's my video. It's going to be published tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. It's going to be out this week. You guys will see. It's called a finish one because I feel like in this format, you guys will see in that video as I discuss it, you need a game-ending combo. Whether it's you're playing red-yellow for an access for your cooler, you're playing, let's say, just regular yellow for access for 6-0, you're playing blue, or you can technically, blue is 2, your leader is 2, 17 is you get 5-0. Like I feel like this format, if your deck doesn't consistently have, hey, is a finishing combo which you cannot interact with, you're 100% behind. So
You
stay
know,
tuned
you
for that
know, you
video.
know, it's funny you say that because I literally told him after the match. I told him this felt like I was playing against Eddie, like when he does his yellow stupid combo,
That's
but
6-0,
it was like
baby.
a yeah. No,
And you can't
listen, he
interact with
said,
it. You need
but
that this format. If you have that this format, you're ahead of the game. If you're not,
I,
you're playing a fair game, in my opinion.
I won't mention it just because I feel like Brian will talk about it in his deck profile,
You see what I
but
told you at the
like one.
airport, bro?
Well, you said a lot of things at the airport.
For
Which
the blue
which one
Goku, I
specific?
told you after I went with Gogeta,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
played blue
yeah,
Goku.
yeah.
Is what I told you? Yeah, I told you. Like the deck is it's uninteractable, bro. Like when you do it,
Yeah, no,
they're
it's
not
literally
getting near you.
interactable. I barely survived. I beat him game one. I barely survived it. Once he did the full combo, but I survived it
Yeah,
barely. And then I killed him because I had no cards in hand, no board. He had no cards. He had one card in hand. He was tapped out and he was at 3 lives. So then I just spammed Vegetas to kill him. So I
yeah,
won game one. Game two. Game two and three, I had to play around. Like now that I knew it existed, I had to play around it the entire time. Game two, I lost, and then game three, that was very close. Like I said, I crowned him. I saw he had the combo in his hand, and I would instantly lose next turn. I was at 6 life, but and he was triple beamed. He had like 6 cards in his hand,
Jesus.
but like three of the cards were the combo. So I had to either kill him that turn or force him to combo the pieces so that he couldn't instant kill me the next turn. So he was forced to combo the turning the tide, but he still was because I was 5K short. He kept the last 5K in his hand, which was the Vegeta that draws you 4 cards, ramps you 4, whatever, and he was able to still win because of that. But yeah, that's. I even told him after the game, I'm like, it felt this was like the blue version of what Eddie did to me.
Yep. That's how I told you that was my next deck after Gogeta, bro. You can't interact with that one either. There's every color can do it. Every reliable color can do it right now. But yeah, that's
Black
it for the
can't
deck.
do it.
Which one?
Black can't do it.
Yes, every reliable color in this game right now can do it. The last shout out you want to give is to this boy right here. That boy, the Scion
Oh
G.
yeah,
Shout
Scions
out to
right
your
there.
boys, man. You boys put in work. But with that being said, stay tuned
Real
for the next profiles. And do you have any closing comments before we go?
That's basically it. Realistically, if I'm being 100% honest, Scion should probably be banned
Oh, all right,
because
we're ending this
that's
video. Goodbye.
that's how they